If you guys watch like TikTok or Instagram Reels, you know that animal facts lady? That's how I want to start doing my intros. Being like, welcome to my Perfume Vegas. Welcome. I'm Holly Golightly, and this is Perfume Vegas. And today, as you can tell by the title, I am doing a house review. I don't do these very often, but this is a new fragrance house with a fairly small catalog still. So I'm doing a house review of the brand Floral Street. I am excited to review these fragrances for you, and I hope that you're excited to hear about them. So just stay tuned.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall.
I'm sorry. I've been feeling really nasty today. I mean, like, physically. Just not today, just like last week or so. So I felt a little better today, so it's like, I'm like full of beans. Anyway, so I'm reviewing Floral Street for you. I have the Discovery set here. I didn't actually purchase the Discovery set with the intention to do a review of the house. I don't usually do that type of overview sort of thing, but after I got it, I was like, you know what? This is a pretty new brand. I know it's at Sephora, so it's fairly accessible, so why not talk about them? And that's what I'm doing. I got mine off of QVC. I did get a full-size bottle from the brand as well, but that's going to be in a haul video coming up, so I'm not going to talk about it in this review. It is... I'll tell you which fragrance it is. I'm not trying to be secretive about it, but anyway, there are two perfumes in the Floral Street catalog that I know of that I do not have, and that is Arizona Bloom and Electric Rhubarb. Now, I'll talk a little bit about the fragrances. I don't know the scents, but I'll talk about like them as part of the catalog as I go through this. So Floral Street is a brand out of the UK. They are a vegan and cruelty-free fragrance brand. So for those of you who are really looking for clean beauty and clean fragrance, the Floral Street line is for you. Their fragrances all have a focus on putting a unique sort of spin on a particular note or ingredient. In this case, it says this is a collection of 8 modern fragrances powered by flowers. Now, of course, there's more than 8 now. There's at least 10 that I know of. There's 8 in this set. And yeah, so they're not too expensive. A 50 ml costs about $75. The Discovery set, if you want to try it for your own, it retails on Sephora for $19. I will link it below. And like I said, it has all but 2 of the scents in it, and I think that's just because those 2 are newer. Anyway, so Floral Street does kind of an interesting thing with their fragrances. They are made in a shade spectrum from lighter to darker fragrances. So the fragrances with the lighter scents will have lighter colored packaging. Their packaging reflects that. And the fragrances with darker, deeper scents have darker colored packaging. Their packaging reflects that. So in order from light to dark, we have London Poppy, Wonderland Peony, Neon Rose, Wild Vanilla Orchid, Iris Goddess, Cheap Sublime, Black Lotus, and Ylang Espresso. The 2 that are not in this package are the newest, which is Arizona Bloom, and Electric Rhubarb, which I believe came out in 2019 or like at the end of 2019, and Arizona Bloom came out at sort of the end of 2020. So I think they're the 2 newest. I think the brand has been around since about 2017, so still in its infancy. And if you are wondering where the two I don't have would fit in the color. I believe Arizona Bloom may be right before or right after London Poppy in regards to the brightness of the fragrance, and Electric Rhubarb is probably right in between Neon Rose and Wonderland Peony. It's like right on the either side of Neon Rose. So just to get you an idea, that's about all I know of those fragrances. I will only talk about these ones from here on out. So let's see, is there anything else about the brand specific that you may need to know? I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and start reviewing the fragrances for you. I am going to do them light to dark just to save my nostrils. So we will start with the lightest, and that is London Poppy. The notes from London Poppy are Sicilian lemon, Florida orange, and a salty marine note. This is, I've tried them all on my skin, so I can give you an idea too of how they last. But this is definitely a really pretty, fresh, citrusy summer fragrance. I mean, there is no denying that this is a really pretty scent. This is a very universal type of crowd-pleasing, citrus, fruity, aquatic fragrance. All of the Floral Street fragrances are meant to be gender neutral. However, in my personal opinion, they all do lean slightly more feminine type of idea, except for maybe one or two, which are more like true gender neutral scents. This is a very pretty one. I think that if you like fragrances like fruity, fresh, summery scents, something beachy, tropical, you'll definitely like London Poppy. It is the lightest scent of the collection, and it does kind of show on me. The wear time of this fragrance on my skin was only about 4 hours. It faded pretty quickly, to be honest, but it is kind of that way with most fragrances in the in this type of category. So that was London Poppy. The next is Wonderland Peony. Wonderland Peony is a light fruity floral brimming with armfuls of peonies, pink berries, and violets. So to my nose, this fragrance is not much of a floral fragrance. There is a slight floral component, but it doesn't really smell like peony to me. It smells more of a softer, kind of less full-bodied type of floral. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't really know what to call it, but it doesn't smell like a floral. But there is definitely a red berry musk note, and then there's a sugary scent. This has a very similar vibe to me to like Burberry Her or like this sort of candy floss, red berry, sweet floral gourmandy type of fragrances. I wouldn't say like Baccarat Rouge 540 dupe or clone. It's like nothing close to that, but it's in that same idea of the scents that people compare to that. Wonderland Peony is the fragrance that I picked up. I had a selection of only 3. It was this one, it was Neon Rose, and it was Wild Vanilla Orchid, and I had to kind of just choose one blindly, and I picked this one. I'm glad I did. Of all of the fragrances, Wonderland Peony ranks probably in second place for my favorites. So yeah, I'm really glad that I picked this one because it is in that fragrance family that I don't have anything from in my collection. So this is really going to be a nice addition, and I really like this scent. I get about 5 to 6 hours of wear time out of it, and it's very like I said, it's definitely, you know, something that feels a little bit more feminine, but it's a very casual, easy to wear fragrance. So that was Wonderland Peony. Next on the list is Neon Rose, and I know this is one that a lot of people have asked about or have had questions about. I've seen a lot of comments about it on people's, you know, haul videos, etc., saying they were either interested in it or did purchase it and liked it. So Neon Rose is a super clean and floral perfume that evokes freshly chopped jasmine and roses draped around one's neck. I found that I didn't care for this very much. Yeah, it does. There's something a little bit sharp about this fragrance. It's a little too bright. It's a little too sharp. It has more of a greenness than a floralness. I do like, oh, it's a little sharp. When it comes to a white floral like jasmine, I do prefer a more indolic type of floral scent. And the same when it comes to roses. I like more of a jammy, dark, rich rose than a fresh cut rose. This doesn't really smell like either rose or violet. It's a mildly soapy fragrance that just smells very green. Like, it does smell like the stems of flowers. So I would not recommend Neon Rose for a blind buy, even if you think you like rose scents and you think you'll be okay. I don't pick up really any rose here. Yeah, it's just a very sharp, soapy greenness. It would make a beautiful soap, a beautiful hand soap or body soap even, body cream even, but as a perfume, it is very strong. And this is one of the ones that does perform very well, lasts well over 8 hours, but it's just, it can be pretty like sharp and headachy and just, I would not recommend it blind buying it. That's supposedly, not supposedly, according to Floral Street, Neon Rose is one of their best sellers. So, I mean, maybe it's just me. I don't know. But I would hate to think that there are people getting this expecting like a very vibrant, rich rose fragrance and then ending up with a soapy green scent. So it's just, I'm just putting that out there. Then we have Wild Vanilla Orchid, which is at the time that it was written, this was supposedly their best seller. I don't know. It's actually not got very high reviews on Amazon or Amazon. It's not got very high reviews on Sephora or Fragrantica, but I don't know what people like. So, who's to know? Wild Vanilla Orchid says it envelops your senses like a warm cashmere blanket, a confection of vanilla, cassis, and citrus, dressed in an abundance of jasmine, blended with bamboo and sandalwood. Wow, like that was quite a harmony of notes. I don't get most of that. Again, I think a lot of that is flowery talk. There is something warm, like cashmere or type of cashmere wood type of scent. There's a slight vanilla, like a slight sweet synthetic vanilla. It's that doll's head vanilla. If you like that, that's what's in here. And there's something green. There's some sort of green hint to this. It could be bamboo. I don't really have a reference point for how the scent of bamboo is to be. I don't really get anything like cassis or sandalwood. I don't really get anything like jasmine. There's some light citruses at the top, but it's not at all what I would have expected it to be, just like the Neon Rose. It doesn't come off as it portrays itself. And so that was why I was really glad that I had chosen the Wonderland Peony, because although I really don't care for peony as a note, it's not really detectable in the fragrance, and it is something that I would wear it is something I would wear, whereas both Neon Rose and Wild Vanilla Orchid I don't enjoy at all. This one didn't last as long. It's probably about 5 to 6 hours on the skin. I'm just talking normal sprays. Of course, you can overspray, you can spray your clothes, you can spray your hair to get more longevity for any fragrance. So Wild Vanilla Orchid marks the midpoint between light and dark. The next fragrances are on the darker side. The first being Iris Goddess. I'm actually quite terrified to spray this, so I'm going to read you the notes first. Iris Goddess is a soft floral fragrance that explodes with violets and ripe red fruits. That's all they say about it. This has extremely positive reviews. I was very surprised. I was very, very surprised. about the amount of positive reviews for this scent. On Fragrantica, I wasn't as shocked because people are more, they're frag heads there. They're a little bit more adventurous. But even on Sephora, there was a lot of positive reviews for this scent, and I don't know why. I put it on me, and I immediately regretted it. I wanted it to wash it off so bad. I mean, more so than any scent I've ever, I've tried in recent memory. It's not as bad on paper. It definitely, my skin amplified something. On paper, I can see why people might, why they might like it. The iris is super, super present. If you don't like iris / orris root scent, you won't like this. It's really there. And then there is like a slight violet note in the back. But it's, there it is. It's coming through with whatever it was that I don't like. It reminds me of something else that I know I don't like, but I can't think of what it is. I even went online to see what other people said it smelled like, and there's something very sharp about it, whereas iris should be kind of a dry, powdery. Iris and violet both, are quite powdery notes. Iris tends to be a bit more dry in my opinion, whereas violet is a little bit more sweet, but it's not really sweet at all. It is very dry. This is a very dry fragrance. It smells like something that has gone off, in my opinion. It smells like a floral fragrance that was nice once and has gone off. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe that's what it's reminding me of. It's something I had that went off. If you like an iris scent, I cannot in good conscience say someone who likes iris scents will like Iris Goddess from Floral Street. However, I can say that if you like iris scents, don't take my word for it that it's a bad fragrance and try it for yourself, because with the amount of reviews that this fragrance has that people love it and say other people love it on them, it could very well just be a bad reaction that I'm having with some sort of scent memory that I'm being triggered by this, that I just don't like. So Iris Goddess is by far my least favorite scent in this group, but again, don't necessarily take my word for it. If it's something that interests you, go try it for yourself, try to get a sample, or pick up this discovery kit. Again, it's $19 on Sephora. It's very inexpensive, and I think it is worth it to get an idea of all these fragrances. Next is another one of the favorites, and it's Sublime. This scent is a glamorous woody perfume starring notes of purified damask rose, violet, patchouli, and geranium. So it's not very much like a ship in my opinion. On paper, it is slightly more than it was on my skin. My skin amplifies the sweetness of things. It just brings out sweetness in things that don't always have sweetness heavily present in them, which is why I don't like very sweet perfumes to begin with. This came off my skin much sweeter than it does on paper. It's very beautiful. It is actually a really beautiful scent. And even though it didn't come on my skin as it smells on the paper, it still remains, if I had to pick out of this 8, a top 4, it would definitely be in my top 4 of these scents. You can smell the patchouli, so if you don't like patchouli, you might want to pass. And you can absolutely smell the rose. This is a much more jammy rose than neon rose. So if you want a rose fragrance from Floral Street, check out Sublime. It reminds me of a fragrance like Mon Paris, that sort of vibe. Yeah, on my skin, it definitely reminded me really strongly of Mon Paris. On paper, it does have a drier quality to it. It's much prettier on the paper. So again, definitely my skin might have thrown some of these, out of their actual kind of zone. So if you want a rose from Floral Street, I recommend Sublime over Neon Rose for sure. That one actually smells a lot. I want to put it on again. I had to almost scrub it. I thought I was gonna have to scrub it because I put way too much on of sheep's Sublime. I put way too much on, and it was like, it was a lot. And I thought I might have to scrub it because it was giving me a bit of a headache. But in the end, it dried down. It lasted a long, of all of them. Could be because I put more on, but it lasted the longest out of all of these. And I thought I was gonna have to scrub it because I was like, I was getting like olfactory fatigue from smelling it over and over. But yeah, no, even with that happening, I was like, no, actually I do like the fragrance. So definitely a really nice one. The next one is my favorite from this whole set. It will be, I would say it's my favorite from the line, but like I said, I didn't try the other two, Electric Rhubarb and Arizona Bloom, so I can't say that it's my favorite from the line, but I think it's definitely my favorite from the line, and it is Black Lotus. And Black Lotus is a powerful woody fragrance. The complex and multifaceted nature of sweet honeyed centifolia rose adds depth to lighter, spicy nuances of pepper and saffron. So this is definitely peppery, definitely dry. There's a papyrus note that's not mentioned in this list, but if I went to the actual page for the fragrance, there is a papyrus note that makes it very dry. I love papyrus in fragrances because it takes away any sweetness. Like, it just absorbs any potential sweetness. Oh, super, super pretty. Peppery, dry, slightly rosy, rich. Oh my god, I love this scent so much. I would not have expected to love this one the most. I would have thought that the Sheep Sublime or Ylang Espresso would have been my favorites, but Black Lotus is my favorite. It's so beautiful. It's very unique. Unlike the others, which I can kind of compare to other fragrances, Black Lotus I can't really compare to anything. But if you have fragrances with a papyrus note, papyrus, the paper, the writing, it's not a paper, it's a cloth type of material, actually. It's a woven type of material. Well, it's a paper, isn't it? Papyrus, sorry. I keep saying papyrus, but I keep hearing papaya, and that's wrong. So not papaya, papyrus, the papery, dusty sort of note of papyrus. Papyrus. It's starting to sound weird. If you have fragrances with that note and you know you like them, you will like this. Otherwise it's a very just a kind of rich rosy scent, peppery and dry. If you have tried papyrus fragrances with the note in it before, and you did not like them, you won't like this because it's got that same very dry, papery quality. It does smell like sniffing perfume from paper. So I think it's beautiful. I think it's unique. If you want something different, if you want to step out of your comfort zone, or if you already know you enjoy those scents, Black Lotus is amazing, and it lasted a good time. All of the darker scents lasted usually about 8 hours or more. So yeah, good lasting power, good projection. It's not too heavy. You're not gonna choke anyone out with your weird paper scent. So yeah, it's beautiful. And then the last one I think is another one that a lot of people have questions about, and that's Ylang Espresso. Everyone loves a good coffee scent until they don't. Like, come on, tell me that's not true. And Ylang and Espresso aren't something that I would naturally think to put together. So props at least to the perfumer for that creative choice. I believe the perfumer for Floral Street, or at least these fragrances, is Jerome Epinet, and so good job to him. Now that I've let it dry a lot. This is a nice scent. It is coffee. It's more like coffee with cream and sugar. It's definitely not a dark espresso heavy scent to my nose. There's a little bit of the Ylang in the very beginning, but it doesn't exist in this scent for a long, long time. They say Ylang Espresso is a powerful, creamy gourmand fragrance with its own electric current and a modern composition that mixes Ylang with a cloud of just brewed coffee, fresh cream, and Sichuan pepper. So yeah, it's definitely like a creamy coffee, sweet. It's slightly floral, slightly. So I'm guessing like it's the florally scent of this is pretty generic. So I'm saying it smells like ylang, but it really kind of smells like flower. It's a gourmand in the way that you would call any fragrance with a coffee note gourmand. It's like Black Opium's gourmand because it has a coffee note, but it doesn't smell gourmand if you ask me. It just smells like a sweet floral with a coffee note. I mean, floral. I would say, sorry, I got my tongue twisted and then it twisted my brain. If you want to like think of something comparable before you buy, if you do take YSL Black Opium, but take the Floral Shock version, I think that's what it's called, the floral version. That's very similar to this, with a generic, very heavy-handed floral note, and then a sweet kind of coffee. This is considering to be their darkest fragrance. It does not last as long as either Black Lotus or Sublime. And I know my pronunciation about ship is kind of like wobbly, so ignore that. But it is fairly on par with Iris Goddess, so it's not too bad. Longer than the lighter scents, but not the best. The problem with these sweeter fragrances, and it does exist in Wonderland Peony as well. I hate the way I say peony. I'm sorry. Is that the sweetness of the scent is very artificial feeling. So Wonderland Peony, Wild Vanilla Orchid, Sublime, and Ylang Espresso all have a very artificial sweetness to them that some people don't mind. I know a lot of people don't mind, and I don't hate it. Like, I like it in Wonderland Peony. I enjoy it quite a bit. But in scents that are already supposed to be sweeter, it can get a little bit overbearing. It can be a little much. It's that, like, toothache feeling. Like, when you eat a lot of candy or you think about eating a lot of candy or sweets, your teeth kind of start to ache. Overall, the house, I don't really have any complaints about them. I don't think there's anything that they are marketing that is like misrepresented. Their fragrances are not as unique as I would have liked them to be, but they're not, the same old cookie cutter, like, designer scents either. It is a niche house, although it is an affordable designer level, mid-level niche house. So you do get that. You do see a little bit of the creativity that comes through there. Very, very unique scents. The most unique of the fragrances that I think that are coming through in this particular set are Neon Rose, Iris Goddess, and Black Lotus. Iris Goddess and Black Lotus for sure, but of the lighter scents, Neon Rose is definitely the most unique, just because it's that sharp green rose scent. It's not a more rosy rose. The rosy rose? No, not at all. It's the least rosiest of all the roses. Anyway, but you do also have some that are very comfortable, that you wouldn't have to step outside of your comfort zone if you were interested in trying the house. London Poppy is a beautiful one that I think anyone would enjoy wearing for summer. Sublime, I think, is pretty fitting into the current trend of what is popular with fragrance. And then, of course, Ylang Espresso, like I said, everybody loves a coffee note right now. So that definitely see something for everyone. And I know that electric rhubarb has been really talked about as being a great scent from them. And then Arizona Bloom is brand new, so I'm not sure, you know, anything about that, but it does sound like it's quite floral as well, not so much with these other notes. So it might be, you know, similar to Neon Rose, where it's a quite bright floral. But yeah, overall, I would recommend Floral Street. I rate them, so that's definitely great, especially since they are working on promoting cruelty-free, vegan, basically clean beauty. Anytime there's a brand that is promoting clean beauty, I would love to promote that brand if it is worth it. And Floral Street is definitely worth it. If you want to check out the discovery set, again, I'll have it linked in the bar or in the description box below, or you can purchase all of the fragrances from Sephora. If you live in the UK, you can purchase them from the Floral Street's website direct. There's a lot of ways to get your hands on this. And oh, also QVC, that's where I got mine. It was the set and the full bottle. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to pick up on this brand, and if you're interested, I suggest you do it. I hope that you take the plunge. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for being here. This may have been a little bit longer than expected, but I haven't done these very often, so I'm not sure what to put in or what to leave out, etc. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope you found the information useful. If you did, give me a like, you know, hit that button, subscribe for me, turn on your notifications, and comment. Have you tried anything from Floral Street? What's your favorite from the brand? Let me know more. I want to know what you're loving, so tell me in the comments down below. I'm not looking at you. There you are. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you again in the future. Mwah. Bye.